I feel like the top is going to get very busy here with this next round of jerseys. But how do you not? Like,
there's a lot of good looks in the West, and I don't think I realized that until having to do this. There's a lot of mid-tier East looks where I think we had a lot of jockeying in the middle.
there's going to be
It's a race at the other end.
a punch out up here.
And that's going to be fun.
Will it?
Is any of our stuff fun?
It fun?
Next on Ugly Thirds.
Welcome back to another episode of Ugly Thirds. Today's topic is the St. Louis Blues seeding stripes. John and Shrems, take away.
The siding's filling up.
I was thinking that Phil looks like a clown in that thing. It's like, wow, I never hated that jersey until just now and seeing it framed.
Oh, we are a clown show here.
Ha ha! That's a hot take from Phil. So, the point of this is we made we wanted to make a bracket, figure out who's the best current look in the NHL, which is 24-25. Nothing else is official yet. And we did the East bracket ready to go, and you, the viewer, are going to decide that through YouTube polls once we've finished doing both sides, which now we have to rank all the teams in the West from the best look to the worst look, and we have to rank the St. Louis Blues, put this card in this lovely piece of siding by the end of this episode. I enjoyed St. Louis. I've been twice. I've been to one game. Really want the guy who can... And he runs out and throws a bunch of shirts and then does the "Let's go Blues" thing after a couple goals.
Didn't he count those first?
He does
3,
count.
2,
Yes.
1, and then
yes, I couldn't think of what it was. I panicked.
there was like a lead up to it.
Yeah,
It was also super cold when we went.
it was very cold. Yeah, that was like an event to that.
And that was before the colder part.
Then we went to Chicago and it was actually much colder. And then the weekend after, thank God we weren't there
There's
because
the
it was
polar
like
vortex.
It's a polar vortex. But you couldn't
enjoyed the
break.
barbecue.
Yeah, you couldn't break the fans' spirits. Like they were pumped to be there. It was
because you got a live organist. What more do you want?
That's true.
You'd think it's the worst goal song in the league with "When the Saints Go Marching In," but in that situation,
Yeah, it works. A lot of it works. Like a lot of this works.
Eons ago, Aesthetics was NHL Tournament of Logos, and he did. And I think him doing that is where he really started to jump, doing a tournament of voting what's the best logo in the league. This one. I want to say they did a second one of like all time, nominating all the logos. It was this versus Hartford, and I think this one again, or maybe it was this version.
Interesting.
But it's like for a logo that says nothing about the sport or really the city, it is a great looking logo. A blue note with wings. 16th note, I think officially.
Yeah.
64th note. I don't know. Someone told me this once, and I'm like, that's really obscure.
Quarter note's 1, 8th note is 2, 16th is 3. So yeah, 4th would be 64.
A 64th note.
Yeah.
It's named for the song "The St. Louis Blues."
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. You don't expect it. Sure, but it's been around for so long. It works so well, and it's such a perfect look.
Yeah.
That nails it. Nails
100%.
it. So we are missing one of the jerseys. We don't have the white. Phil, could you show us what that looks like?
No, because I double clicked real fast. There we go.
It is. Oh, I probably should have just got out the '90s version. I have one of those in a bin somewhere. They've gone back to the look that they started in 1997 and carried through. It started as a third jersey with the sheet music, and then was promoted, and they made a blue one, and that lasted, I want to say, until Reebok in 2007. So, and then they went to these with the fangs and the piping and the. Yeah, I mean I guess it doesn't look the worst, but it's clunky, especially there.
Looks like you just graduated college and you have your rope around your neck.
Absolutely.
That's your debt.
Hello.
Phil's on the hot takes this episode. Wow. That was dark.
Just so we're clear, what is that rope called? the
Your
cord?
hood?
The cord?
Oh,
No,
the
the
cords.
cords.
I think I just called it cords.
Okay.
The third jersey, you're going to look at there is an international body that governs this. The third jersey is a Winter Classic, which was 2015 against Chicago, 2014 against
17,
Chicago.
I think.
17?
Yeah.
If Phil wasn't already looking a thing up.
I think it was 17.
And it got promoted. It went from the Reebok era then to the Adidas era, and they're still using it. Phil, can you take down the
They're just called cords.
yeah, the inset slide?
Yeah.
That was so well done when it first came out.
Oh my god! I mean, the colors are gorgeous.
Well, it's Winter Classic first, right?
The striping is simple and effective, and a throwback. The vintage white really works. I mean, there are people who complain about vintage white, and I understand it. This takes it's a soft palette already with the blue and the gold, and white I think would be a little harsh. I think it works beautifully.
It does.
The numbers do just as well. You might remember this from a Loose Threads episode. And let's not forget the hanger effect.
It's there. City flag.
Phil, you wanna zoom in on the hanger effect?
Maybe.
You can do either one actually. Either jersey's hanger is the same. Now, of course, the fleur-de-lis is at the center of the St. Louis City flag, and that river is going through. But there's two that lead to the one that goes on the real flag. Should have put that in the graphic, but totally didn't think about it. But it's great. It's a great addition to it. I think this is the best the Blues have ever looked.
Yeah, and we've talked about, just because it was mentioned, that they're going to be thinking about a rebrand, and we have concerns that you're taking a team that looks good and you're going to do something to them.
I don't see how you upgrade.
No.
I don't see how you upgrade from this.
No.
They're the Blues. You have multiple Blues.
It works. Like, all of it works.
You kind of need the darker thing to be on top of the lighter thing. The shoulders really break it up. The thick stripes at the bottom are fantastic. I have zero notes for that. They switched from gold numbers to white numbers. I can't say I cared that much for the gold. Are these that much better? I don't have a strong opinion on that. And they won their first cup in this, so let's also keep that in mind. Oh, and if that wasn't enough, they bust this out for 2 games a year. So if you really want to but I like the 90s and the nostalgia, well, yeah, they get to dabble in it, and that's all you need. That's all it should ever be. The clown suit can stay away. So we have no news on an actual rebrand, so we're not going to include this in. It is the current look as it stands. Let's keep that in mind.
24-25.
Right. Where do we put this?
I mean, we keep sliding these down.
Yeah.
And I think you have to.
Well, I couldn't believe how much the Preds got savaged in the comments. I wore a Preds jersey to school, and I got more compliments than anything else I've worn in a while.
Yeah.
But this is a regal hockey look with an amazing logo. They don't sully it. There's no secondary logo. There's no other thing. Could they bring that back as a shoulder patch and I'd like it? Yeah, but do I really want to muddy this?
How does it play against this third right here? I think the third is the deal breaker here. Which third is better?
So the Canucks are very simple. It's a very simple look, and they lean into that well.
Simple look.
I think this is a little busier, right? You got more stripes, you got shoulder elements, you've got that. It only cuts off, it tapers. I think this is the level of detail in the logo and the jerseys. I think is proportional. Whereas in the Canucks is a very detailed logo and a very plain jersey, which is a good way to go in many things. But I like the balance happening here. I also love this throwback that it's not far off, but it feels very vintage. This feels like it could go back in the 20s and fit well. Yeah. It feels very timeless, but not in the modern era. Whereas the Canucks, it's a hard shift back to the 90s when it's a very different color scheme. I think this is top.
It offsets. Nope, that's not the right word. This right here is more historical and better curated than the third here. I'm not going to put it far ahead of it, but it definitely deserves its place slightly ahead of Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great look, and you throw in that they're dabbling with the '90s 2 games a year. You know, I think that also helps. Of okay, so the Canucks can do that as a third. Well, they're going to do it too.
It's the complete package.
It's the complete package. There is nothing else you should want from this.
No.
And I have great pause for a rebrand.
Yeah.
Great pause for a rebrand.
Likewise.
Let's hope they nail it. Let's hope we're wrong.
But there you have it.
There you have it. So voting will come after all of this is done. Stay tuned. We got to finish the rest of this. He's Shrems. I'm John. Phil, why don't you take us out?
Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, ring the bell to get notifications when we post new videos, and come back for another episode of Ugly Thirds. Get a little choked up over there.
You okay over there? I'm getting worried about you.